Hello mga katag! Eto na nga tayo, exciting again because we have a new artist. Well, not so new rin naman, pero ito na nga ang kanyang comeback. We're excited to have Michael Keith here on Tag 91.1. Hi, Michael!
Thank you so much for having me. Hello po, kumusta?
Wow, I love it. I love that you're talking in Tagalog because I heard you weren't born and raised in the Philippines, were you?
Yeah, I was born in the US and I was raised in California and I live in Huntington. So like I'm like in like Orange County, so everyone
Oh,
around is like all like white people and all that
yeah.
stuff. So
So it's
yeah, I picked up all the lingo there.
but
And
that's good. At least, you can bring it and inform our kababayans, and our mga
oh yeah,
tag out there. But so now you're situated in the Philippines, right?
yes, but yeah, I'm currently in Manila.
Nice. So with that,
Yeah.
ito naman, understanding that, of course, you're a full-blooded Filipino, pero you didn't grow up in the Philippines and you have that American blood in you as well. What are
Yeah.
your music influences?
A lot of the popular ones like Daniel Caesar, Frank Ocean, Justin
Mm.
Bieber. And there's some that are they've had hit songs, but they're not, as noticed as much, which is kind of sad. But like Bozzy, and then we have like people like Pretty Much, and those people. And I really look up to them just because they have like this side of artistry to them that is just so unique.
Yeah.
When you listen, especially in my genre, I'm a pop artist, right? When you
Yeah.
listen to pop music nowadays, it's just like the common stuff, or even just like any music in general, they just talk about what everyone's talking about. Whereas if you listen to like, let's say Bozzy, he talks about his past relationships. He gets so vulnerable and talks about all his feelings, and I really respect that because it's very rare to see that in the industry nowadays. So
The candidness, no, of the
yes,
artist. It's there. But it's true kasi you get to hear artists like really sharing their feelings, and that's the inspiration of their songs. Like we know like big pop artists like to the likes of
yeah,
Justin Bieber, like you said, Taylor Swift, those people that we know that really talk about their past relationships. But
yeah,
it hits different pag alam mo yung talaga rin namang yung the vulnerability of the song itself din naman, eh.
yes, but
There are
yeah.
certain artists na masasabi mo rin namang ramdam mo yon or dama mo. And, yes, with that naman, kasi you talk about relationships, you talk about the songs and all that. Before I go into your song na "Drowning," kasi
Yeah.
siyempre we understand that you're not from the Philippines, but you are there now, 'di ba? You're making music
Yes,
and
but
making songs. So what are your big challenges in the Philippines, like, right now working on yourself, working on your music as an artist?
I think right now, there's honestly two. Number one, it's just like adapting to the sound here. Kasi alam mo naman, yung sound doon sa US,
Yeah.
parang the one that like goes popular, the ones that people love there, they jam out to. It's so
Mm.
different from what like makes it here. And so I'm trying to bring that over here and like kind of put like Filipinoize it in a way where it's still like the music that I want to make, diba?
Yeah.
And then obviously the first language I learned is English, and I'm still learning Tagalog as I go. And so trying to learn how to write in Tagalog and making sure everything makes sense, and it's still giving the same message that I want to give in the song. So I
That's
think those are
good.
the two for me.
And I was kind of expecting the language barrier there, no? So I wanted to ask you naman, I'm sure you've picked up on the language, nagtatagalog ka ngayon, 'di ba? You can understand me when I speak Tagalog.
Yes, but
The question naman I have for you is, ano naman are there any Filipino or Tagalog words that you've picked up on that you usually use na? Like, it's now part of your vocabulary na ito na yung lagi mong nagagamit?
I think it's such a weird word, pero I think it's the word bucket. Kasi the bucket is just why.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with everything, there should be a purpose. There should be a reason to do everything. So I think just having that bucket, that why in every song, it's really helped out.
Oh, nice. Okay. I
Yeah,
like how you're doing that, no? You're infusing it into the purpose of your song, into
yeah.
whatever you're doing. Pero in your everyday life naman, is it the same or do you
Oh
or
yeah.
different
Yeah,
way?
I'm always asking kasi, lagi
Right.
naman nag-text ng mga team ko sa akin na, oh, we're like doing this, whatever. And I'm like, I'm usually confused sometimes. We're like, or like, why is it like that? Or bakit ganito, ganyan. So
Yeah.
yeah, because
That's
I'm still trying to adjust to life here.
yeah,
So
that's true. How long have you been there, if you don't mind me asking?
so this isn't my first time. I was here in 2020 and
Mhm.
then pandemic hit and then I was supposed to stay for like a couple months, but then I was there from January through June, but then from March to June I was in my condo the whole time, so I didn't get to
Yeah,
experience the
that's true.
Philippines the fullest. But I've been here since February and then I go home at the end of the month, take a little break, then I come back. So I'm
Okay.
gonna be here more often.
So it's like this is the longest you've been in the Philippines, right?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
yes, what?
You talked about your purpose, how you write songs, like being vulnerable and all that. So what is the inspiration for your song right now that's drowning?
Before I came here last year I was in the US, right, and I was just like living my life there and just taking time for myself. Just doing whatever I do, just me before I came back here for work. Um and I kind of got myself into a little something with
Mhm,
someone,
mhm.
and it was like my first time having like real emotions with a person because I was with a person before her as well. Pero parang hindi siya, alam mo na, like you don't really feel it. It's like the first relationship is always kind of like the, oh, I'm like, exploring, having fun. But then this is like the first time I've had like a real deep connection with someone. Um, and I remember just like being in the studio and just like hearing the beat that I made. And I remembered like when I first met that girl, and I remember like that feeling of being with her, and it
Yeah.
just felt so like deep and so intense that like I was just like, wow, it's like I'm just like fully surrounded by it. And so I really took it from that. And then yeah, it just the flow of that session was just super fun. And I remember just like writing everything out. And then obviously I had Sean Sedjo help me translate Tagalog. And then I remember just hearing some words that he was pouring out. And it just really enhanced the meaning of the song.
It's good to hear that side of you. But you were talking the song is entitled Drowning, but it seemed like when you
Drown.
yeah, when you talk about it right now, it's so kind of like
It sounds
inspiration.
very eerie.
Yeah, and then when it's drowning, it's like, okay, that
Yeah.
it gives that different vibe to it then. So anyway,
Yeah. That's honestly, it's really funny you brought that up because I remember before we released the song a month prior, my team was like, could we change the title for it? And we were like trying to think of ways because they were like, yung drowning parang ano siya, like it's like very dark and eerie. But
yeah,
then luckily we were able to keep it. I think it's really cool that we got to keep it because it gives that mystery. Because when you first look at it and then you see me in the water, I'm like in the cover art, I'm just like drowning. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is about. And you start hearing the beat and he's like, oh, it's a very vibrant song. And you hear
it
the
is
lyrics and he's like,
actually.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it
And
gives you that
so
contrast to it. Like you were expecting a different thing when you see the title
yeah,
and then you see the artwork around it and then you hear
yeah,
the song.
yeah.
You're like or like, oh, this is such a vibrant song. What's the title? It's like, and then it's drowning. Huh. Okay. It gives
Okay, yeah, and it's
that
just like it just
vibe.
pulls you in more, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I have this segment in my show. It's called Popcorn React. So I react to the latest songs, latest film, and I give my own rating to it. And whilst I have you here, I won't let you go just like that. You have now to rate your own song, Drowning, 10 being the highest. What is Michael Keith's rating to it?
Wow, really putting me on the spot.
Yes, of course.
Um, okay, here's the thing. We're all our biggest, like, we're our own like biggest critics, right? We like this day that I've had in the Philippines since February. I've honestly been making some of the best music of my life, and Drowning happened to be the first song that I made when I came here. Um, and I feel like it's the most vulnerable that I've been, and it's the most feelings that I put into a song. Um, and so I feel like I can give myself a solid 8.5. I'm just giving myself a little room, just because you always want to improve and do
Of
more,
course. Of
but a solid 8.5 for me.
So why is it an 8.5 then?
You know, as a person who, not only just an artist, but an artist who writes his own music, I feel like we sometimes go into slumps where we find it hard to write things that actually mean something
Mm,
and mean not only like mean something to us, but then also it can mean something to someone else. And prior to that, I remember a lot of the stuff that I was writing was just like your typical, just like pop music or just like, oh, lovey-dovey stuff and just like your generic pop stuff. Um, but I think I for this one I really pushed myself to just be more in touch with my feelings and be more vulnerable. And granted, it's not the fullest because I do have some other stuff that I've been working on, and there's one song that I really can't wait for it to for to come out. But this is the most feelings that I poured into a song. And granted, it's not like you're like a Hugot song, or it's not like
Yeah.
like a sad slow song, but it
Right.
still has a lot of meaning and feelings in it. So
Nice.
it could definitely use more though.
Yeah, 8.5. There we go. We accept that. We'll give it an applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 8.5
Thank
for
you.
Michael for Drowning. And now, since you've mentioned it already, you're creating new music. Could you care to
Oof.
share any future projects that we could look forward to?
Right now we're just focused on drowning. I really love my team because the way that they work is honestly the way I go at life. Just taking everything one step at a time and just making sure we expand on everything as much as we can. Um, but just definitely expect some of the most creative, some of the most vulnerable, some of the most insane music that you could ever hear. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. We'll look forward to that. If it's to the likes of Drowning, the vibrancy of the song, well, we are excited for it. So yes,
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
So
much.
if our listeners would like to follow you, where can they find Michael Keith?
Yeah, all my socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are all at Michael Keith Music, MICHALKITHMUSIC.
Nice. All
And
right.
then obviously check out all the stuff for Drowning. It's out now everywhere. We got the lyric video on Viva Records YouTube channel, and then we have a music video coming very soon. So stay on the lookout for that.
Tag 91.1.